So here we are again, and this time it's his guide. But unfortunately, someone in my comments of my last video said something very picky to me. He said, go to 7. Let's go to 7. Let's go to 7. And I'm thinking of when I'm looking at the merch. Let me make sure you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Is that, you know, 777 is on the shirt, man. I will not be manipulated in this way ever again. But I'm gonna do 2 pulls. I'm not even gonna look at Fergie. And that's my intro. Because either this is gonna be a video praising the boy, or it's gonna be me screaming bloody murder. So it just depends on the victory. Depends on the bull. Is that someone else is trying to manifest this character for me? Do I deny their energy? I don't think I could deny their energy. I should have denied their energy. And maybe not. Maybe not. The 7.
Sky from the resort feels more special. Sky from the resort feels more special.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash. In today's video, certain tanks need to stay in their place, okay? They need to stay in their place. No matter how this video goes, just remember it's 100% MFO. Now, guys, we're going to be going into Luke the Boot Duke. He's actually, funny enough, I think a lot of people, I don't remember how much I praised this guy in the past, but when I first started the game, he was like one of my main characters. I used him a lot. And this was before I had any faded characters. He was just really good. The shared health was mitigating damage like crazy. So I've always liked the character a lot. So now that he has, well, he's always had an FC, right? But now he also has the Fate Core. So I wanted to go in there and talk about it. Unfortunately, sad days, I will not be able to showcase that stuff. But luckily enough, the boy Dreadnought actually has a very well made, probably gonna be way better made than my video, explaining other things, pretty much a review just like this one, but he also has footage of how his FC passive works. So I wanted to say that in the beginning of the video because not everyone makes it to the end. Guys, go check out his video and give him a like and a subscribe, man. I think he's approaching 2K. It's ridiculous that he's not at 2K. Really ridiculous. Anyway, let's go to what we normally do, which is checking out the base stats of this character. And I should also make him 5-star. I don't know, maybe you should pop up when I summon for you. Anyway, and I still have that thing. I'll what is that? I think 200 likes on that other video. It's at 130 right now. I checked because I kind of wanted to do it, but as you guys can see, he has a decent amount of HP, 47 hundo. Defense is 1587. What I always like to do is compare that to some of the faded brothers in the building. And as you guys know, that one of the best tanks to compare any defense to is going to be like a Mahar, 1587, 1647. So I think, what is that, like 880 or something like that? Like, these are the tanks that have very high defense. Same thing with Ulum, very high defense tanks. So he probably has, Luke probably has a really good amongst like the other ones, but not that bad. Not that bad, and it is important.
Even if my body becomes dust, my will remains devoted.
Even if my body becomes dust, my will remains devoted. And that's kind of like one thing that they do. They really are good with like the naming of the passives and stuff like that to really like draw you into the character. I do like that. Anyway, he hit, dodge, crit. Yes, you're very caring about that. All you care about is the HP and defense. Honestly, he's a tank, and of course that blocks that being at 390. So he's part of the 390 crew. You guys know 390 is the highest base block that you can start off with, at least so far in the game that I've seen, and it just means that he has a possibility for blocking damage, which is going to be amazing when we go into the FC. His detriment, his biggest detriment, is going to be that attack speed of 30. and also the login of 45. Crit damage, block defense rate, and luck are exactly the same on every single character. So what is this character meant to do? And it's going to be he's slow, but once he gets his turn, you guys, I feel like y'all should be doing this portion. Like I should just customize some viewers' voices and they just do this part. If a character is slow, you're looking for them to have an impactful turn. If a character is fast, yes, they have an impactful turn, but they're usually either there to snipe something out, or like, that's why the slower characters usually have these big hits or big buffs or stuff like that. Especially in PvP. PvE, you can kind of be slow and get away with it, kind of, sort of. But in PvP, speed is where it's at. And PvE, sometimes you have time to set stuff up. You can take a few turns to heal up everybody, revive people. It's all this slow play. You can't revive in PvP currently. You just can't do it. It's too slow. But in PvE, you can. So that's why I really like this guy for PvE content more than I like him for PvP. But if they're starting to do more turn manipulation, which is like Janai with the attack speed manipulation, and of course Lepin, who can give a turn to someone that's low HP, which could be Luke, but he's not gonna, unless the block is triggered immediately, which is, we'll talk about that later. Let's go and look at his base skills, and then we'll quickly jump over into the FC because I don't want to spend too much time on him. But we do need to know how old my boy is. 32 orc in the building. You know, you guys, I know you ladies are out there looking for a guy that's been a little bit weathered, that can survive a storm of a relationship. You know, maybe Guardian Luke is what you're looking for, you know? Maybe that's what you're looking for. His design is okay. I mean, I think the hammer is just a little silly. It is like, I guess, like for people that do that, and the big old armor. I don't know. Very boring design. The character itself boring, I think, but you know, I digress. Anyway, basic attack, smacks you while holding the shield up, which is just, I don't know. His design is just boring. Standard old block, he has block 2, unfortunately, so he only gains mana when his own health is low. He doesn't have block 3, where you would gain mana if your health is at a decent rate. Really good for that, and especially for when we get into the FC, is that he puts a provoke on all the enemies when someone gets low on HP, 30% low, and he gives himself a heal over time. So even if you don't have a Dorka or you don't have any other healers, he does have a capability of healing himself. It's 20% of his attack, and it's garbage heal, but with his FC it could be something special. The Burning Hammer, which I loved, it helped me out a lot in the early stages of the game. It kind of could help out now, but you have to really be paying attention to, 1, if someone has status effect immunity, and 2, the turn order. It gives him a provoke for 4 turns, very basic, hop up, smacks him. Very boring character. He's not flashy whatsoever, but he gets the job done. Like I said, really good at taking a single target nuke to himself, so he doesn't have to do that. And also, obviously, with his passive, he's going to be provoking a lot of people, but sometimes the provokes run out of time and you need to do that. Or maybe the block never triggered, maybe your team is kind of healthy and you still need to divert a big attack to the tank. So next is the Shield of Loyalty, which is his main move, which is increases his own health by 46% for 9 turns and gives all the other allies shared health, which is again really big in the FC. The whole aspect of increasing your own health is good because that is not a heal, so it should bypass any anti-healing things, or at least that's how it's worked in every other game. But you know, this game has a very weird tooltip, so maybe it does get blocked by anti-heal, but it shouldn't, because it's just you're growing your health pool. You just grow it up, your maximum health, and it allows you to heal more, which is very, very important. It allows you to heal more. It lasts for 9 turns. This shared health lasts way long, 18 turns. That means by the gods, especially if you've been provoking especially if you've been provoking with the passive or with your S1, or if you've been doing all that, you usually will have at least 4 mana every turn, especially once you start provoking and stuff like that. So you usually just use this off cooldown and then you provoke if necessary. That's usually how the character's flowchart is. You just keep spamming this over and over and over and over again. It's kind of like Iris, you just keep spamming her mana gain because that's what she's there for. You're literally looking to do just that. Spam this over and over again. You're pretty much at that point provoking, because guess what? When shared health, when those allies get hit, he takes damage, and when tank takes damage or support defense type take damage, they get mana. So you literally can always have this up as long as you initially get that skill off. So you will always have this up. It's free real estate. So there it is, small mini me version. I mean, they all look kind of cool. They're just a lot smaller. The hammer's there. He actually puts up the shield. He like puts it away, I guess, so he doesn't, like, I guess because it doesn't get in the way. I don't freaking know. And of course, I got, look at that. That's so cool. Like I'll say it every time, is that there are some really good designs when it comes down to the fake cores, and I have the synergy as we're going to see the other characters. It looks, well, we've already seen that the animations are drastically different. They really went above and beyond. I don't know, I hope they've been listening to my videos and maybe possibly other complaints of people summoning for the golds and the blacks, and they're not as good as the old ones, because look how animated that is. That's insane animation for a black fake core. I love it. So now we're going to go into the passive. So it stays block 2. You guys know Heart Strike, and now even the new thing I learned of Heart Strike, again, another way of getting mana. He's gonna, I think it's on his turn, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna let it scroll. But yeah, when his turn comes, he gets mana based on the mark level, whether it's Heart Strike 1, 2, or 3. As you guys know, attack speed, then the attack speed goes down, the defense goes down, and then they also get blinded. They take AoE damage, which is really good for breaking, like since he's fire. If you especially right now, honestly, having a fire Heart Strike pop with all these characters going fire on their awakening set could actually be detrimental. Can automatically randomly just cause a fire break across multiple units, and actually could benefit you. I'm just saying, it's nothing to scoff at. Him and Helmklin could also be very dangerous in the meta right now for literally attacking a tank, because if you guys don't remember, Heart Strike always goes on the character that has the highest HP, so it's going to be on a tank, someone easily to access. And Helmklin would actually be good because he has high speed. Just throwing some gangsta, throwing some tips out there. And also they'll both be gaining mana, so if you had those two on the same team, they would actually gain mana. I'm just trying to put y'all on game for the PvP meta. I would do it, but I don't have Luke. What we're talking about here is going to definitely be the ultimate sacrifice, the new one, as long as he has some type of buff. Well, one, he gets increased health and health regeneration. That's regardless. Make sure you give him a buff as soon as possible. But also, he transfers all the damage received by the allies onto himself, as long as on his own shared health. It is worded correctly, so I was thinking, like, what if I got a character that's faster than him, or that would put out shared health quicker, and then maybe we'd be in the money. But no, it does not work like that. So it's his own shared health effect, so he has to do it through this, which is actually changed in this skill as well, so it is what it is. Next, we can see that the damage just goes up here. The provoke is also the same, so who knows what I'll attack with. See, look, even the jump back, stop, it's too much, it's too much. And then of course you have the shield of loyalty here, which is a little bit different. Now you can see that not only is he increases his own maximum health, I think it's a higher, I think it was 46 before, now it's 57 for 9 turns. Shared health is still 18 turns. Buff increases the defense of all allies by 25% of his own defense. Now we know that a while ago they changed that when buffs like this happen, it actually is retroactive. If it's retroactive, it should work on his own defense buffing, and it also should work on the defense buff that he's getting from his passive as well. So two amazing ways to increase his defense, to make it that he's giving a crazy defense buff to his allies. Now the defense buff given to the allies is important because remember, he's taking damage for them as well. So in that same respect, you don't want them to take a shit ton of damage either. You want them to take less, like if they're gonna take 3,000 damage, if you can mitigate that in some way, that's gonna benefit him as well, so he doesn't end up dying. Because especially what becomes dangerous is all the AoEs, all the damage over time, the rafts, and all this crazy stuff in PvE. You don't want him taking all of the brunt of that while also taking damage himself. That's usually what happens, why a character like him would end up dying, because he's tanking damage himself because he's getting hit, and also he's taking damage for everyone else, which makes it like a huge accumulation of damage. But if he could survive the initial hit, he'll heal right back up, as long as he has something healing him. Obviously a lot of people are using Dorka right now. He has his own thing if the block triggers, and then you can also use Lepin to give him a little heal over time that could help him out, and then you can just obviously pair him with any other healer. Also, I mean, it would be stupid for you to do this, but I wouldn't say stupid, I shouldn't say stupid, but just keep in mind that the Heart Strike itself does do damage on Heart Strike 3. So if you wanted to be cheeky, which I do not suggest, but it's just something to say that you could technically put that on there, and he'll heal a little bit off of the Heart Strike damage if you wanted to put him on Dark, but I wouldn't suggest to do that. But it's just something funny that you could do to have him as like a maybe a self-sustaining tank that he can literally heal himself. If he's not blocking, he can heal off the Heart Strike stuff. I don't know, I just think it's funny. Look at that. Tick. little tick on the shield, and then he's good to go. Another technique that they use is sometimes on the Blackfake course, they just make the animation a little bit longer, a little bit more animated, more zoom ins and stuff like that. So cool. I think, again, phenomenal job on that. For the gear, now you're gonna either want like a mixture of, I mean, red is definitely like the more HP the better. He has high survivability, but don't slack off on defense, guys. You do see that he has a defense buff, so HP and defense should be priority to you, in my humblest of opinions. So the only, I mean, you could even do a mixture. I mean, you only have 6 guardian stones, right? So you could possibly do a mixture, maybe a little bit defense here, or you can go all out on defense. Defense is weird, right? Because it's like, the more defense that you do have, it technically is the less damage that you'll take. He has things that boost up his HP anyway, but these awakening, when you're thinking about these awakening sets, is about what you're coming into the fight with, and he has to survive. He has to survive. So if you were to go like fire into even more fire, like even your second set, your awakening gear set, into more fire for damage reduction, I do think that that might still be better. But if you want to throw in some defense in there, like maybe you vouch for the defense love, because I mean 175, then you get a plus of 700, and that's the same defense that you're passing out to everybody else. I think it's not that bad of a thing. Also, I've said in other videos recently that keep in mind that Summer's Blessing is thank you. Summer's Blessing is a really cool thing because it does give you one block of blue. Like, so if someone is trying to attack with Frost, you will block one instance of it, and it kind of helps you out a little bit. So it helps you not get broken. And one thing that I learned from Dreadnought's video, go check it out. I already shared you the card, so yeah, y'all better have at least clicked onto that. But he does mention, and something that I was kind of not thinking about, is that the shared health, you are taking those elemental attacks as well. Awakening him is slightly risky. I mean, obviously you're doing it for the stats, but just keep that in mind that you will be taking all the elements that are out there, so whatever is popular. So I would say, even if you do awaken him, make sure that you are going into, let me check on my boo, Reva Boo. Like, she has awakening, I awakened her as red, right? And then now I can start putting other colors, right? So maybe I'll do red, and then she'll have some green, you know, start mixing it up, or maybe just have that one off of light or something like that, or one off, or I wouldn't do dark. Dark is Fear of the Abyss is kind of popular. Maybe just have a one off of something that's not popular in the meta if we're talking PvE. Obviously PvP, I just flipped that around. We're talking PvP, make sure that you have like a one-off meta. If you're really about PvP, one-off meta color, and then, you know, do whatever you want, but just so you don't get broken that easily. Sometimes, we all know that light is one of the easiest ones to avoid, because most of the time there's no light AoE character, and the only light characters that are always in the meta is going to be Garth, and right now Iris came into the meta, so you're pretty much safe. And Iris usually doesn't attack. We have to be careful with Janai, because she will be stripping buffs per turn, so she's gonna strip, if anything, she technically should strip the defense buff. But I need to see that in action. I unfortunately don't have videos for that, because as you guys saw in my Janai review video, that there are sometimes she doesn't strip buffs that become active. She wasn't stripping the dodge buff. I still need to test her out in PvP so I can know if like she's taking these active buffs that pop up out of nowhere. But as far as Luke, I still think he's a phenomenal character. I think that he's going to come into PvP, maybe not right now, but maybe depending on the new things, because you guys got to remember, they've been dropping characters left and right. AoE provokes are still a thing. People still don't have status effect immunity really in their kits like that. I mean, Iris does cleanse it, but you know, I even think about Otard. I still think, like, I'm waiting for Otard to become like something that you could really go in there with and just instantaneously kill off a bunch of units because they're all provoked. Like, you guys, that's kind of like why I want to make sure I have like every little thing. It's a greedy, it's not like a smart thing to do, but it's definitely like my OCD. My OCD of obtaining characters, that I want every single character. So what do you guys think about FC Luke? Do you guys think he's worth it? I know a lot of people are saying that he's not worth it, but a lot of people that are using the character, that are actually having fun with him and Dorka, are really enjoying themselves. I think that it's a really cool idea, and like I said, I think that it's what is like future proofing. Having something like that that is mitigating damage for your other teammates is going to be amazing. I can only imagine how great that would be for the Kylak stage that I'm technically stuck on, where if Luke were to just get a turn, that he can absorb all that damage, hopefully tank it and survive it. And even if he doesn't, I would easily just revive him, and then I'm only losing one character per AoE sweep instead of losing 2, 3, 4 in a PvE scenario. Like, I think that that's what's so crazy about that. And I think Because also I've been spoiled by Dreadnought, is at the end of this chapter I think is Mahar once again, and that's one of the liabilities that are in that fight is that he has an AoE, and PvE and AoE is usually really bad for us because they can just randomly spike the damage to hell for no reason. So characters like FC Luke to me are really special. Yes, he's better with Bathory because he has block characters are amazing with Bathory because of like the damage mitigation aspect of it. Like you can get triggered down to 1 and then block can come out and then everything in the world becomes right again. So YFOs in the comment section below. And no, I don't have to plug my merch every video. I don't have to do that. I like to though. It's kind of fun. But if you haven't liked, commented, and subscribed on this video, what are you doing? I don't understand it. And just remember that every day of the casino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.